Boom. I believe we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us again today. It is Thursday. We've seen a little bit of downside in the markets, and as always, this actually represents further buying opportunity. Now, I do hope you are having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I'm going to start with Ethereum and just go over a little bit of subtle technical analysis, the way I kind of usually build out my day. I'm not in a trade at the moment. I was in a short trade on Ethereum, but I got stopped out the other day. So let's dive in, take a look, and see how the market has developed up to this point. So we'll just dive in. We'll give you guys an intro at the beginning now. Who likes that? Okay, so on the chart here now we see Ethereum. And if you have been following and joining us through this story for the last little while, we've been watching these distributive tops take place. And there's a fair amount of volatility in the market still, and that's always a positive thing. If you're on the right side of a trade, even if it's to the downside, you're on the right side of a trade. It doesn't really matter. Volatility both in either direction can be useful to you if that's what you choose to do. Now, I don't suggest going short for anyone who's new at trading. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you really... But practicing the skill set, especially for when we get way up crazy high later on in the future, can be a very valuable way to protect your portfolio. But that's for another day. For now, what we want to do is just continue to study. So the last week before, we saw this very quick distributive top in Ethereum and then a very fast reaccumulation channel here. And now this larger formation that's taking place, I think is distributive. So there are usually two ways to look at this. Now, we've gone over this a few times, but number one is always to look at it from a horizontal channel. So this is the reason why I was in a short in Ethereum to begin with, is because I was watching this horizontal channel, not this falling channel that we see in the green. So this channel in the green, a descending channel actually can be bearish. Now, there is a time when you can have a trading range that shoots back up to the top of here above the POC line. It would be 592, closes above that, and then breaks out. So we do know that you can see reaccumulation patterns that form through these descending channels. But for now, effectively, it was distribution, because as soon as we couldn't close above the POC here, we did drop. Now, do we drop lower? I think it's going to be a really key indicator to let us know what the rest of the next month or two looks like. We've been speculating long before we got to this date that the springtime would likely be the start of our real kickin' bull market. When we're getting into some euphoria finally. We're still in the midst of a pandemic. We've had people all around the world have lost their jobs, or they're trying new jobs, hopefully. Some of them that did lose them are trying out new things. But we've been in a little bit of turmoil and fear for the last little while. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we've had a lot of bullish momentum through that kind of fearful moments for a lot of people. This is a very positive thing for the market. Now, the question is, how much do we cool down between here and March? Now, I think we're going to find out probably within the next week, which is fantastic. If this starts to break out again, there's another chance again that we come lower later, but that's a bit of a different story. If we were to, I think it's on the Ethereum perpetuals, yes. So on the Ethereum perpetuals, again, what I want to go over here, and then I'm going to make my comparison to Bitcoin shortly afterwards. I'm going to have to keep today's live stream a little shorter. So we'll just have a few questions at the end of the day. No ranting about aliens allowed. So this kind of ascending megaphone is something that Jesse Livermore talked about in his speculative accumulative charts as well. So if you've been studying with us through the Wyckoff charts, you will hopefully again know Jesse Livermore, a big stock operator from the 1930s. Now, again, we're in a different space right now. There are a lot more computers communicating about trades than there are people, so you need to be able to be aware of that. It helps you understand that you're not trading against people. Most often you're trading against kind of computer entries that don't fluctuate the price too much. High frequency trading has actually made prices less volatile and more stable quite often. So this megaphone is pretty indicative of the final parts of a breakout. So you have your trading range back down here at around 280. You see your first SOS, your primary LPS, your secondary SOS, and then a tertiary LPS. So you've got a sign of strength here, a sign of strength here, and then you've got a low or a supply test here, and a low or a supply test here. Now we haven't got there yet. So there is actually a likelihood that this comes out and spikes up to around 760 before coming back down a little later and closing maybe higher at 520 in March before starting its bull market cycle out. We don't know yet, so we want to keep a really close eye on that trading range that we are just watching, because this trading range could effectively shoot us up higher if we close above this descending channel. So because I got stopped out of my short, like I entered my short at 589 and then I got stopped, I had my stop at 604, so it hit, what did we close at, like 605 or something? It's just a little bit over my stop. But anyways, I was short in this trade only because I was expecting this drop. Now here, I would not be in a trade. I would have closed that out if I hadn't been stopped out, because now I want to wait to see what it does. If we jump back up and above this POC line, first off, I won't be in this because I want more confidence. And this is only like a slight bit of price spread between here and here is like 6%. Whereas if we do go out further, it's going to be a nice jump. If we close above these lines, we could get a 20% jump up, maybe even 30% jump up to 760 or something. So more importantly, we want to really follow each of these trading ranges and not pick a direction before it happens. Now, if you're an investor and you're asking yourself, well, what good is it for me to understand these trading techniques? It really can help you, time your entries, especially on the long term. Like, we normally start our charts and our market analysis by looking at the long-term chart and trying to analyze and remember, well, where are we? We're in the start of a bull market. Yeah, that's exciting. This is how you can tell. Here you can see the previous buying climax of the bull market in January of 2018, where Ethereum closed at around $1,300. Will we get back there? Yeah, I believe so. I think Ethereum is extremely undervalued. Now that we've got our monetary system and we've got our contractual layer as well, these are two huge moving cogs in the wheel. I think that they're both extremely important. And because of that, I think Ethereum is overlooked. And that's usually one of the better ways to try to find assets that are overlooked and undervalued in comparison to one another. I think Ethereum can go a lot higher, but again, and more importantly, it is about the success of what Ethereum can build on top of itself and within these kind of scaling solutions that they're moving out into. We went over this the other day, how much Bitcoin there is on Ethereum. Let's take a quick look at that chart again. Something like 145,000 Bitcoin run on the Ethereum chain right now. That's all, like, what is that? 0.685% of all Bitcoin run on Ethereum. So almost a percent of all the Bitcoin are operating in Ethereum right now as collateral for loans or for lending, etc. It's very interesting to see that kind of data. So here again, what I want to do is make a general market analysis, because we're looking at the sector of kind of the blockchain and the blockchain space, the crypto space, the DeFi space. I mean, guys, Bitcoin is DeFi. It's decentralized finance. It's just like more of the tractor version of some of the kind of newer, I guess you could say, funner, because it's newer stuff that's being built out in the Ethereum world. So here we had the previous buying climax back in 2018 before this large distributive pull down back to around $80. So this is where most retail traders buy, is up here. So congratulations if you all already in this market, you have effectively done a lot better than most retail traders will do in the future, because they'll probably end up buying at much higher prices at the very last moment. That may even be what this kind of these SOSs represent, is some of the last shout outs to everyone that wants to get on the train. Because how much higher we're going to go, I don't want to speculate on until we're in mid motion. It's just easier to watch for the change of character than it is to try to call it before we get there. We could say a 10x on a bunch of these over the next few years. So that's a pretty conservative maybe as well. We don't know what it looks like as we start to scream into larger scales of adoption. So buying climax, selling climax, perfect. After the selling climax takes this very long period of time that we call accumulation. And that means when the supply is being absorbed by the people that have crap tons of money and they just keep buying. And it's usually highlighted by what we call the spring, which is often like the peak moment of a transition into or out of fear of some kind or another. At this particular moment with the pandemic, it was into fear. And I think at the next springtime that we have very, very soon here is going to be out of the fear and more into euphoria. There's apparently a vaccine or something that I don't know how no vaccine for so many things for so long, but hey, we got this one. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? How did you not get any of the other ones right? Oh, anyways, it's a totally different story. Nonetheless, there's a vaccine or something like this, so there's euphoria in the markets, and we're going to keep going higher. We'll just kind of briefly touch into that. But more importantly, we want to be really patient with the formation of our trading ranges here, because we know two big things. A, we could jump up to 760 on Ethereum, which would, again, this would take us pretty much to our final tertiary regression line from our trading range. And we had talked about these regression lines. I haven't really gone over what they're valuable with for you guys, just because you don't want to follow too many things like a rule set here. We're just following a trend line, basically. And often, if you are interested, you can do something that's quite fun here, and we'll go ahead and do that right now. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. I'm going to check to make sure the stream is actually going smoothly really quickly. So we'll take a moment to give a shout out to all the Bear family while I scroll in here to make sure everything's kind of functioning. I can't tell. I'm hoping it is. Can't see right now. Can't see anything in the chat. Jeez. YouTube changed something yesterday, and now all the video streaming stuff is different on the inside. Just the day I want to start streaming regularly again. Okay, there we go. There's all the there's all comments. Okay. Everybody, okay, everyone says it's going well. Awesome. Okay. We'll go back to the chart, finish this conjecture here, because I have a meeting at 1:32, so I want to get that off the table. But these regression lines that we want to return to often align with our Fibonacci retracement and our volume profile. So one of the fun things here is that if we measure from Ethereum at the very top of our trading range to the very bottom, to the spring of our trading range, look what you see here. It's kind of fun. Now, the first area that we punched up into, and I could actually edit this so you'd see that there's another one here. There's a 1.236 that would line up right here as well, by the way. It's just not in there at the moment. But here you can see our 1618, which was effectively the very top out of our SOS prior to that. Our 1346, which was the first start of the extension of our primary breakout. And then here, the 2.618 is that around $720 to $760 area. Now again, if we go back to our rising megaphone chart, we see that this actually might bring us again to something similar before we come back down. Now again, the question is, do we come back down now, test that supply one last time and then go, or do we go up a little bit higher and then come back down a little later and then go up? Either way, I am suspecting that we're going to have a bigger down momentum moment, but we're really watching closely with this again on Ethereum, and this is fairly similar with Bitcoin. I think you'll see they'll move together. So if we have a confirmation from one, I can probably call it a confirmation for the other. At least that's been the case so far, although Ethereum is a step ahead, so it could actually maybe go higher faster. We have yet to see that, but it could be the case. We don't know. We're learning as we go. So again, remember, if we close above this POC line at 600, this could very quickly send us up to that 720 mark, which is not just our regression line on our daily chart and our much longer accumulation regression, it also happens to be the 2618. And as you see with the volume profile, you're going to see right here, it actually happens to be one of the final areas that you saw on this trading section as well. So often, guys, if you're good at finding analysis, you're going to sadly you're going to find things that will confirm your bias, because you might be right. But here, what we want to do is also wait out which are the most important. The most important is that we've been in an accumulation period for a long time, so we've got a lot of room for upside, and we're just starting this bull market, so we can stay bias bullish, which means we can pretty much just accumulate, aside from maybe playing with more exotic and option-based feels here. Anyways, so we'll go in, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. I just want to clean that chart up before we take off to the next one. And maybe I'll try to squeeze in some of your guys' questions. So same thing with Bitcoin. We'll start out on the daily. We see a very similar category of movement. We see a very long accumulation after buying climax, a massive breakout. Now, one of the interesting things again here is that even though Bitcoin is behind Ethereum in terms of breaking out of the trading range, it's much closer to getting outside of any of its areas of resistance in terms of finding new highs. So once Bitcoin breaks out past 20,000, we've never had price there before, so it becomes a price discovery moment effectively. So that'd be a very big thing. So one of the reasons why I think we're probably going to go lower first. But anyways, again, even if if Ethereum jumps up, I suspect we'll see something very similar to Bitcoin, where we get like a final kind of peak out top, maybe to 22, even 24,000 before building that larger accumulation range. And that's really what we're trying to find, guys, right now, is that this is a beautiful time. There is going to be another accumulation range that forms here, and patience. Or if you're buying spot, just keep buying. Not investment advice, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to keep buying through all of this at a week over week basis, the same way I always have been, because it doesn't change the storyline just because the price goes up. It shouldn't change your investing pattern. It should change your trading pattern, because you can use exotics. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys all for joining us on this episode today. It's a short one. We're going to do more lives, and we're excited. We're going to have a chat with Noah, potential for a video editor today. Really excited for that to go down too. Leave all your thoughts, your questions, your comments. I did finish the wall on the other side. It needs to be cleaned. The grout's still there, but it looks good. I'm excited about that. One step closer to kind of being back to a normal schedule. I'm going to take a look at just a few of your guys' questions here and see what I can title off with. I love the title, Ethereum is undervalued. That's pretty damn right. Yes, I think so as well. Very important to recognize that one. I want ETH back at $100 so I can buy more. Yeah, right. Ethereum at $80. That was a thing. Nice ominous opening. Thank you. How precise is the ETH charting when it is connected with how BTC moves? We'll go over that one in a later. We've gone over this actually quite a bit, but Ethereum moves the same as Bitcoin. It's just a kind of a step ahead in terms of its trading range expose. So we might see bigger percentage moves out of Ethereum sooner, although that's kind of it's a difficult one to speculate, because we're not past all-time high, or not even close to all-time highs in Ethereum, but we are further out of the trading range with Ethereum, which is very interesting to speculate about, because I don't know what the difference. I haven't seen that happen before, where I have got two similar kind of assets in the same sector, one that's a step ahead of the other one. And, they're both around like 300 to 400% of positive outside of March already. So from the start of the bull run, let's see. If trades and entry points are made against bots, how much can human investor psychology play in how we trade? Well, even though it's bots that are trading, it's human emotion that it's humans that write those bots. So oddly enough, it has been working fantastically. These trading ranges, for those of you who've been following us, were following with us since July, when we started really mapping out these trading ranges. Most of them we got spectacularly well. Some of them, obviously, like BAT was a big failure in my face. The SOS was beautiful, and then all the way back to the bottom of the trading range. But I mean, this is the game that you have to go through. Is you have to learn how to always adjust your strategy so that you can move with those changes. But effectively, we're seeing the exact same trading ranges that Wyckoff speculated about in the 1900s that still function identically today, because even though it's bots trading, it's the emotional aspect of the retail traders that make up the general market once things start to kind of go haywire. Ethereum is slow, high gas fees, and has bugs. Yeah, that's not the case. That'll go by really fast. Why pay 20K if 12K is next week? Yeah, because it's not about, any good investor knows that you shouldn't think about if it's the price difference of X dollar to X dollar. You should be averaging in over time, over decades, effectively. So the investor knows that it's time. The trader makes a massive amount of profit between 12 and 20K SORM. That's why it's a massive difference. It's just a much easier play. Most of the people who would sell that are general investors, if they try to sell at 20K to buy back in at 12, they'll never do it. They'll fail at that miserably. Okay. Let's see. Last thoughts here. I'm not going to go over Neo today just because I've kind of closed the charts down for now. I love the camera placement and where it tends to push trader Bitcoin exchange for late January, December. Okay, we'll go over some of this stuff. We will be back tomorrow, guys. I just had to be brief today. We are finishing up the wall. I will actually end the show by giving you guys a sneak peek of the new podcast area here before I jump offline. So check this out. Let's see how it looks. So it took a few days, but yeah, this is the new pod. So I've got to go so far back to see it, but that's the new podcast center as it's built out. So we're going to have a nice new wall. We'll put some ceiling hangers on there, stuff like this. I got to paint the outside gray area. We might actually finish the rest of the house like this. I'm not sure. Looks pretty good, right? Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate the support today. we're signing off. I'll put this camera back here, right? And then I'll go over here. Remember to give us the thumbs up if you like this content. Thank you guys for joining us in this live stream. We will be doing the live streams almost every day that we can at around 1 p.m.-ish until I move and then I'm in a different time zone. I'll have to figure that out again. But for now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be consistent at around 1 p.m. with live streams, and then we're going to start editing more educational videos as the editor comes on. Thank you guys all for joining us. I hope you're enjoying the markets. I'm keeping a very close eye on that trading range with Ethereum because once that starts to form, it's going to give us a clear indication about, I think, what the next 90 days probably looks like. So thank you guys, and we will see you again on the next. We'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.